Veganism. Don't do it. End of video. Hey guys, it's Anya. Today I'm going to be talking recovery and veganism and why, in my humble opinion, those two do not mesh well together. Quick backstory, if you haven't seen my other video or you're new to my channel, is I struggled with anorexia nervosa for 5 or 6 years, and I was vegan in that time for 3 or 4 years, and I've now been recovered and non-vegan for 3 years, something like that, 3 years. So veganism, what is it? It's basically a diet or lifestyle that doesn't use animal products. Some people that just means not eating animal products, some people it means not buying wool or not engaging in activities or products that harm animals. I would only buy secondhand wool and leather and stuff like that, but it was like my diet was exclusively that. And key to my point today is that veganism developed about 6 months after I properly started to develop anorexia. If you've been vegan your whole life, your family's vegan, or you went vegan at least a few years before your eating disorder developed, it's probably healthy. But I'm talking veganism that developed after or alongside your eating disorder. I see now that a lot of the motivation for me to go vegan came from a place of wanting to impose restrictions on myself, food-wise. One of the main problems that I see with veganism and eating disorders is that it enforces the attitude that food has rules. So veganism, for example, is by definition a restrictive diet. You're restricting a whole group of foods, right? So you're imposing a set of rules on yourself that I am choosing that I cannot eat so and so and so and so. It's not that I have an allergy to eggs. It's not that I have an allergy to shellfish. It's that I am choosing to put that restriction on myself. And if you have an eating disorder or are developing an eating disorder, then making a choice to tell yourself you can't eat something is going to keep perpetuating that eating disordered mindset of food equals bad or food equals something I can't have. If I have an eating disorder, the worst thing I can tell myself is I can't eat XYZ. Reason number 2 I don't like veganism and recovery is literally from a practical point of view. There are nutrients that you cannot get so efficiently from plant foods. So I believe you can get the full spectrum of nutrients from plant foods apart from B12. The form that nutrient takes in a food changes. So for example, the vitamin A that you get from carrots, beta carotene, is different from the vitamin A that you get from red meat, alpha carotene. Your body uses alpha carotene a lot easier than it uses beta carotene, which has to go through a whole process in order for your body to absorb it. So if you eat red meat, your body gets the vitamin A a lot more easily than if you eat a carrot. So you're going to have to either eat more carrots or carrots with other cofactors that help with the absorption in order to get the same level of vitamin A, or you're going to end up with a vitamin A deficiency. So this actually happened to me after a few years, is that I started to get deficient in a lot of the nutrients that stay in your body for a long time. So for example, vitamins A, E, D and K, they all are stored in your fat and they don't deplete for years. But if you're not replenishing those stores in your fat, eventually they're going to go down, and one day your body's going to go to that fat store to get some vitamin and there's going to be none there, and that's when you start to get deficiencies. Had those nutrient tracking apps that calculate what percentage of magnesium and thiamine and, you know, riboflavin that you have. Like, it's very, very specific. So I was actively trying to meet all of my nutrient needs. For a couple of years, my blood tests were impeccable. They were perfect. The doctor would go, wow, this is so healthy, you just got everything. But then when those stores of vitamins that could only easily be gotten from animal products and were stored in my fat started to get depleted, I started to have nutrient deficiencies. And after about 3 years of veganism, I had a bunch of health issues. Number 3 reason why veganism sucks in recovery. It's a great way to avoid fear foods. The big reason why I went vegan in the first place was to avoid foods that scared me, like butter and ice cream and chocolate, you know. It was all these high calorie, high fat foods that were not vegan. And so if I told my family that I was vegan, then I had an excuse as to why I was no longer going to sit down with them to eat ice cream. It became a thing of, it's not my eating disorder, that's making me not want to eat ice cream with you. It's the fact that the ice cream's not vegan. Because I would tell them that it was coming from an ethical beliefs perspective and that the eating disorder had nothing to do with it. I just didn't align with the way the ice cream was made. You know, my friends would be going out for takeaway. Oh, sorry guys, I can't have that takeaway, it's cooked in animal oil, etc, etc. You know, I would have all these excuses based around my veganism. It really held me back from just embracing those fear foods. In recovery, it is so important to face the foods that scare you, even if they are objectively not healthy foods. The only unhealthy food in recovery is the one you're not eating. Eat all the things, because the only way you're not going to be scared of them in the future is if you eat them now. And so yeah, another practical thing that kind of sucks about veganism is that you have to eat a lot more food. Unless you're literally living off like avocados and coconuts and Brazil nuts, you're not getting as many calories for the volume of food you're eating as if you were eating meat and dairy and stuff like that. So you're going to have to eat more food to meet your body's energy requirements. This can be really hard because the feeling of being full is really challenging. So if you're suddenly having to eat a bowl of food the size of your head in order to get enough calories rather than eating a piece of meat this big, you're going to feel full and you're going to be challenged in that way. And some people are like, wow, great, I can eat heaps of food with veganism and still not become obese. Being full kind of sucks. So, as you can see, I don't think veganism and recovery can really go hand in hand. I think veganism is by definition holding yourself back from being fully recovered. I don't disagree with veganism as a concept. I think if you do it right, and if you maybe add in a little organ meat or eggs occasionally to just boost those nutrient levels that you can't meet so easily through veganism, I believe you could be mostly vegan for a very long time and be really healthy. But I don't think recovery is the place to do that. And my final little piece of advice around this whole veganism and recovery thing is not being vegan allows you to stop fixating on food. So a lot of people take veganism on as almost a personality trait. They say, I'm vegan, and they identify with the word vegan and everything that's associated with. Veganism is very much a dietary lifestyle change. So there's a big focus on diet. You know, if I'm vegan, people are going to ask me what I'm eating. People are going to be interested to know how I get my nutrients and blah blah blah, and my diet becomes a big part of who I am. Now, I believe that when you're recovering from an eating disorder, you actually want your world to revolve the least around food that it possibly can. Like, don't get me wrong, I love food, I love eating, but my world does not revolve around food anymore. And in that I have the freedom to be so much more than a food geek. You know, I can have hobbies and interests and relationships and a beautiful life that does not revolve around food. And I believe that identifying as vegan and making veganism a huge part of your lifestyle keeps food at the forefront of how you live your life. Eat all the things, care a little less about food, go have the experience, go have the fun, go live your life. Food is secondary. So, I hope that that provided some valuable points maybe. I'm still getting used to talking in front of a camera, so I'm aware that my spiel is a little all over the place. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate the fact that you guys are here and listening, and that I feel like I get to bring something of value, which is really beautiful. And I'd like to do more of that. So if there is something that you really feel like you need to hear right now, or a question that you have, something that you would like perspective on from somebody who might have experienced it, please leave that question down in the comments and I will read them, and I will make a video about them, and I'll chat and give you my little brain thoughts on those. And yeah, I would love to see you guys subscribe and come back and watch more videos. And thanks guys for watching. I'll see you again soon in the next video.